This is one of those nights that forces the entire NFL conversation to slam on the brakes and confront something people have been tiptoeing around for months. Because when Troy Aikman sits there after a 48-27 demolition and calmly but unmistakably validates what your eyes are screaming, the debate changes tone instantly. And that's exactly what happened here, as Brock Purdy didn't just play well, didn't just manage a game, didn't just benefit from a system, but absolutely torched a professional. Defense in a way that leaves no room to hide behind excuses, qualifiers, or lazy narratives. And the uncomfortable truth is, this performance rips straight through one of the most stubborn talking points in football right now. The idea that Purdy is merely along for the ride, because 5 touchdown passes, 0 punts for the offense, and total control from the opening drives to the final whistle is not accidental, not fluky, and not something you stumble into by luck alone. And the reason this moment feels so explosive is because it didn't come with chaos or desperation or miracle throws. It came with efficiency, calm, command, and a kind of surgical precision that forces critics to either adjust their stance or double down in denial. And when Aikman, someone whose credibility on quarterback play is unquestioned, openly frames this as elite execution while emphasizing how hard it is to do what Purdy is doing, the subtext is loud. Because this isn't hype from fans or teammates, it's respect from a Hall of Famer who knows exactly what functional dominance looks like under center. And that's why this night lands differently, because it challenges the comfortable idea that the 49ers are winning in spite of their quarterback, when in reality they're winning with him orchestrating the entire operation like a veteran who understands timing, leverage, and pressure as well as anyone in the league right now. And the urgency in this conversation comes from the fact that the NFC suddenly looks wide open, the margins are thin, and San Francisco is playing like a team that knows exactly who it is, with a quarterback who is no longer asking for permission to lead. What happened in this game wasn't just another win, it was a statement that demands to be addressed. And if you're uncomfortable with that discomfort is exactly the point. Here's what set this whole thing off. San Francisco walked into this matchup with momentum, a clear path toward the #1 seed, and a sense that they've been hiding in plain sight while the rest of the league tried to figure itself out. And they walked out having obliterated the Colts 48-27, extending their winning streak to 5 straight games, moving to 11-4, and doing it with an offense that didn't punt for the 2nd consecutive game, which is the kind of detail that changes how coaches, players, and broadcasters talk about you behind closed doors, because that's dominant, sustained drive after drive. And when Joe Buck framed the NFC as wide open and pointed out that the 49ers feel like they're getting hot at exactly the right time, that wasn't optimism, that was observation. And when he followed it by saying, the quarterback is getting healthier, playing better, and commanding an offense missing key threats on the outside, it put the spotlight exactly where it belongs, on Brock Purdy's growth and control. And before we dive deeper, if you want more breakdowns like this, more unfiltered reactions to what's really happening in the NFL, make sure you subscribe and drop a like, because these conversations are only getting louder as the postseason approaches. The most revealing part of this entire discussion wasn't just the stat line, it was how Aikman assessed the quarterback play without hesitation, because when he said you couldn't watch this game and conclude anything other than that both quarterbacks played great, he immediately drew a line between respect and result, acknowledging that Philip Rivers was phenomenal while making it clear that the outcome had everything to do with San Francisco's total offensive control. And that matters, because it reframes the narrative away from excuses and toward execution. And when Aikman talked about Rivers' courage, comfort, and refusal to embarrass himself after being away from the game for years, it highlighted something important. By contrast, Purdy didn't look like someone fighting nerves or hoping not to mess it up. He looked like someone dictating terms, and that difference is everything at this level. Because great quarterback play isn't just about throws, it's about ownership of the moment. And Purdy owned every inch of it. Joe Buck's observation that the 49ers have been hiding in plain sight all year suddenly feels prophetic after this performance, because this team didn't suddenly discover an identity, they revealed one that had been quietly forming, an offense that blends a relentless run game, disciplined line play, and a quarterback who understands how to distribute the ball without forcing heroics. And when Buck emphasized that Purdy has been awesome, that the offensive line has played really well, and that McCaffrey was rolling. It wasn't an attempt to minimize the quarterback. It was an explanation of why this machine is so hard to stop. Because Purdy is the connective tissue that makes all of it function at full speed. And that's why the no-punt statistic hits so hard, because it reflects trust, rhythm, and consistency, not just explosive moments. When Brock Purdy himself stepped to the microphone and explained that everyone just did their job, that Kyle Shanahan was in his bag with play calls, and that the offense felt timed out perfectly, it reinforced what the film already shows. A quarterback who understands structure and thrives within it. And when he acknowledged the honor of joining Joe Montana as the only 49ers quarterbacks to throw 5 touchdowns in a game over the past 35 years, it wasn't bravado, it was perspective. And that humility is part of what keeps this offense so balanced, because there's no panic, no forcing, just execution. And critics love to dismiss that as system-driven, but systems don't throw touchdowns. Quarterbacks do. The deeper implication of Aikman's comments is that this isn't about potential anymore. It's about present reality. Because when he says the 49ers are going to be tough to beat, especially if they keep playing like this offensively, he's not projecting, he's warning. And the schedule context makes that even sharper, with Chicago and Seattle looming. And a Week 18 matchup that could decide the #1 seed, the margin for error shrinks, and San Francisco looks like a team built to apply pressure, not absorb it, and that starts with a quarterback who doesn't blink. There's also an undercurrent here about respect, because Aikman's praise carries weight precisely because he doesn't hand it out lightly. And his acknowledgement that Purdy was even better than Rivers on this night isn't a slight to Rivers. It's a declaration that Purdy's performance stood on its own merit. And when Buck added that this kind of night can reshape how people see a player's legacy and trajectory, it echoed something larger happening around Purdy right now. A gradual but undeniable shift from curiosity to confidence, from question mark to cornerstone. The conversation around the Hall of Fame sparked by Rivers' return might seem like a tangent, but it actually underscores the stakes of quarterback evaluation, because greatness isn't always defined by rings. It's defined by impact, respect, and consistency, and Purdy is building all three in real time. And while nobody is talking about legacy yet, performances like this are the foundation of how those conversations eventually start, especially when they come in high-leverage moments with playoff positioning on the line. What makes this win resonate is that it wasn't chaotic, it was clean. And clean wins are the scariest kind, because they suggest repeatability. And when a team doesn't punt for 2 straight games, that's not variance, that's identity. And Purdy's explanation that they take it 1 drive at a time isn't coach speak. It's the mindset of an offense that expects to move the ball, expects to score, and expects to dictate flow. And that expectation radiates outward into the locker room, into the defense, and into how opponents prepare. Even the brief moment Purdy shared with Philip Rivers after the game adds texture to this story, because it shows a quarterback aware of lineage and respect, acknowledging a legend while simultaneously carving his own space. And that balance is rare, especially under this kind of spotlight. And when asked about the #1 seed, Purdy didn't bite on the future, didn't indulge in projections. He stayed locked on process. And that discipline mirrors what Aikman and Buck were pointing out from the booth. A team that understands how fragile momentum can be and how quickly it can vanish if focus slips. The X's and O's breakdown that followed only reinforced how intentional this offense is, from formations to motion to percentage shifts that favor playmakers like McCaffrey. And while those details excite football purists, they also dismantle the argument that Purdy is just reacting, because he's checking plays, identifying looks, and executing adjustments live, which is the essence of quarterbacking at the highest level. And when you pair that with 5 touchdowns and total offensive control, the label of unreal doesn't feel exaggerated, it feels accurate. So when you step back and absorb what Troy Aikman actually said and what this performance actually showed, the controversy isn't whether Brock Purdy played well, that's undeniable. The controversy is whether people are ready to admit what this means for the 49ers and for the quarterback hierarchy in the NFC. Because San Francisco isn't waiting for permission anymore. They're positioning themselves as the standard, and Brock Purdy is at the center of it. Calm, efficient, relentless, and very real. And if that makes you uncomfortable, It's because it forces a recalibration that many weren't prepared to make. But after a night like this, denial is the only thing that looks unreal.